All right, let's start off with Thursday night. We have Carolina at Chicago. My first question for you, and then we can get into the game, is the Chicago Bears defense legit with Montez Sweat?
So here's what I'll say. Absolutely not yet.
Okay.
Now here's my thing. Absolutely not yet. But again, what we're talking about and what you love to see if you're a Bears fan is like, look, there's still going to be a lot of holes in this defense, right? In a reality situation. A lot of things have got to be fixed, and it's just the way it is. But regardless, you add a guy like Montez Sweat. Okay, look, we're getting instant pressure added. Okay. So on top of that, you already see, I mean, the D-line last week was looking, in my opinion, the pressure rate, and yes, I will, let's be clear, against a team like the Panthers, okay, it's a little bit different, sample size a little bit different, and it's you got to take it with a grain of salt.
Right.
But regardless, look, let me pull it up real quick just so I got my numbers here. You got Justin Jones getting a sack, Yannick Ngakoue getting a sack, Rasheem Green getting a sack, and it's fine. Here's the thing, regardless, it's like Montez doesn't even need to be getting all the numbers himself. His impact is being felt by getting other guys involved. I mean, there's not many games this year where the Bears have 3 sacks in a game. I mean, that sounds ridiculous, but genuinely, the Bears D-line is not getting home more than once or twice a game very often ever. So to see this in the first week with him, you got to love to see it. He's making opportunities for other people. Again, far from being a good defense, but I think this is the first piece you can look back to when you finally do have that good defense in a few years, couple years, as long as they keep building upon this. And you'll be like, all right, that was the moment that it started coming together for us.
Yeah, I think that's the thing too, is like their secondary is now healthy and everything like that. I think this game, regardless if it was against a horrible Panthers team or not, you could definitely see more continuity in the defense. And I think that's what fans have been looking for all year. Now, on the other side, the Panthers defense was just wasn't there, non-existent.
Well, they're also, okay, I know the Panthers have a lot of things going on with them, right? Like, they have a lot of injuries. They have a lot of things, too, where we've been saying you're hitting a critical point where you're going to have to, rally situation, there are going to be guys that you're going to have to sign or make a decision on trading, where the value might be better on trading than this offseason.
Right.
So you
Brian
just have
Burns.
this, well, and I wanted to get back to that. I know we talked about this last week again, too, but we have to bring it up every time we have a chance while it's still relevant, because it is. I mean, it's critical stuff you have to remember. When you had the 2 first-round picks on the table for Brian Burns, like, this will keep looking worse and worse.
Yeah.
Because now it's looking like you're not even going to keep him. And on top of it, I don't know. Even if you do, I think having the 2 first-round picks with the stated team would have been nice. Obviously, having an edge rusher like Brian Burns is huge. But again, when the team is the way it is now and your competitive window is still so much farther away from being open than this year, in my opinion, I don't think the Panthers are one of those teams that can kind of just snap their fingers, make a few moves, and be competitive. Like, no, it's really going to be one of those bleak processes where it's going to take a few seasons, especially with Bryce being the guy. You got to put a lot of things in place for Bryce. Like, the Panthers as a whole, defense on top of the offense, that's why the question was, are the Panthers in like the most bleak situation? That was one of the teams I wanted to ask about, because at this point it's coming down to the race of like, who is in the most bleak situation? Shit, unfortunately for the Panthers, they're definitely right up there in the top 3. There's no doubt about it.
Well, because, I mean, if you're a Panthers fan, how do you trust the GM? Like, they traded away what they traded away to get Bryce Young. And not to say that this is all Bryce Young's fault, but you could have recouped all that with Brian Burns. I mean, shit, you could have traded away Derek Brown or Brian Burns instead of DJ Moore. And my thing is, why would you trade away an asset that's going to help your young guy that you're trying to acquire? So at the end of the day, the Panthers, I would say, are probably one of the most bleak situations in the NFL, to your question, because how do you trust the GM to get you out of this? I mean, like, no one's going to be offering 2 firsts for Brian Burns anymore. I mean, how often are 2 firsts on the table for any player?
Well, I was going to say on top of that, look, Brian Burns ain't getting you a sack yesterday. It's 0 sacks in the day. Like, this D-line isn't producing regardless. You know, and I'm not saying Brian Burns is not still a good edge rusher. He is. He's still a very good edge rusher. But the reality is, if you look at it from the Panthers fans' perspective of, man, we could have 2 first-rounders, 2 early first-rounders for Brian, it's just a sad moment, 100%, no matter how you're going to slice that.
So I guess my thing is, like, what do you do if you're the Panthers on offense? Like, because last week I released a video called Bryce Sucks, and it got a decent amount of views, and like, people obviously probably didn't like the title, but
that's what you got to do sometimes.
Yeah,
I mean, just don't get it.
Basically, my point is, like, he doesn't suck, but he's on the path to sucking if the things around him don't improve. So kind of like what, a note you had down is like, beyond Thielen, there's really nothing on that offense.
So this is what I wanted to bring up, because that's how I was literally going to go to that next. But here's the thing. Well, I'm coming to the point where I'll see him make some flashes with Mingo. Like there'll be a few plays every couple games or every game where you're like, oh, okay, like a couple. It's just literally when I mean a couple. Where you're like, all right, yeah, like good play. And Mingo, he made a like nice grab, nice route. Like, all right, I like to see that. But then it's just like there's never anything built upon it. And hey, look, it maybe this is just this first year. Maybe they're going to take time to get a connection. But me personally, and I think a lot of fans would agree, if you're going to see a connection start forming, it kind of starts to happen pretty fast. It's not, and kind of like you use Thielen as the example. Like, it didn't take multiple years with Thielen. You see that chemistry. The issue is a guy like Thielen, is only getting older every year, and he's not going to be there when you're in competitive window time. So it's like, what is the point of even extending that chemistry? That's like, unfortunately, all these issues are very real, where we can sit here and joke about it. But if you're a Panthers fan and you're the Panthers, all this is so real. Where do you go after this year with Thielen? You need to start getting receivers around him. It's like,
I think the biggest thing to switch over almost to the Bears side of the offense, when you have like a D2 undrafted rookie almost playing, not to say they have the same capability, but statistically playing around the same level, that is a major cause for concern. And the fact that they actually won the game is very scary.
That's the last note I wanted to point out, but it's funny enough, like the Harlan Hill trophy winner and the Heisman winner clash first in history happening. Who would have thought?
I didn't even peep that.
The Harlan Hill boys brought it home. You can't make that shit up. That's just hilarious. And you got to love it because it's one of those things where the Heisman guys might never have even a chance to defend that. Like that just might be 1-0 forever, because really, when is that going to, it could, but
very rarely, I think it'll ever, I don't think it'll ever happen again. Kind of like what you put down here, really the only bright spot of that Bears offense, like we're shitting on the Panthers, but the Bears didn't have that great of a day on offense either. And the Panthers don't have the greatest D. So like Deontay Foreman, very bright spot for the Bears, in my opinion. I don't know why they didn't hand him the ball earlier.
You got to give a shout out to the Panthers for the man, right?
Yeah.
This is like,
and they signed Miles Sanders.
And I know Panthers fans they're finally on our side, though. It took halfway through the year for them to realize what I realized before the pen was even put to the paper and the rumors were around. But the reality is, I'm not even baking them. I'm just gonna let them have it. They know what it is at this point. I won't even get into it. But running backs, man, you got to be careful.